What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is Political Recap. I'm Melissa. I want to talk about a story. Again, MEIDASTOUCH. Thank you for keeping these stories in circulation, for covering what needs to be talked about. And this is one that I want to go a little deeper into. So, this is about Donald Trump, the presidential immunity, and that IRS lawsuit. And there's legal experts really starting to say this could become one of the biggest accountability stories of the Trump era. So, again, this is a political drama. This really gets into abuse of power, taxpayer money, and honestly, the role of the courts. And at some point, we really have to start standing up against this growing lack of accountability for powerful people. So, as a reminder, the Supreme Court gave Trump broad immunity protections for official acts as president. A lot of people, myself included, think that ruling was dangerous. And honestly, it opened up all sorts of doors to abuses of power. But there's an important part here I don't want us to miss. And that immunity is supposed to, of course, apply to presidential actions, official duties, executive branch functions, not personal business, not campaign activity, not private lawsuits. And Trump personally brought this lawsuit against the IRS and the Treasury Department for billions of dollars. Not as President Trump, not as the executive branch, but as Donald Trump, the individual. That distinction right there is what matters a lot legally. Once you step outside of official presidential duties, you don't always get to hide behind immunity protections. And that's one of the reasons why that January 6th cases were so important. Courts were already saying certain actions connected to campaign activity weren't protected by presidential acts. They were personal or political actions, not presidential. And now I've been hearing legal experts start to really look at this IRS case and saying, hey, wait a second, if Trump filed this personally and if there was some kind of collusive or even fraudulent arrangement happening here, he might not be protected the way that we might have assumed he was. That's the part I want to put emphasis on. The federal judge involved in that case, Kathleen Williams, she's reportedly looking into allegations tied to fraud and improper conduct, really surrounding the dismissal and the handling of that case. When judges start throwing around words like fraud, that's serious territory. Now, do I think this DOJ under Trump is suddenly going to aggressively investigate Trump? No, absolutely not. But I want to look at the bigger picture here and what exactly is going to happen politically over the next few years, because I think people underestimate how exhausted we are with corruption, with billionaire privilege, with insider protection, and honestly, this feeling that there's two different systems, one for regular people and one for the ultra powerful. I think that a lot of Democrats that are going to start stepping up for 2026 and 2028, we need to keep attention on these matters. Keep attention on accountability on these cases and actually seeing them through. Especially something like this because there are political stories that, maybe not everyone follows, but this is something every American can relate to. We understand taxpayer money, especially when it's being manipulated. We understand our courts. We understand when they're being used inappropriately by a sitting president, someone who's acting in their own personal interests. We understand these things. And honestly, this is where I get frustrated with Democrats that are looking to run. We need to move away from the instinct of let's just move on or look forward or restore norms. That isn't the moment right now. We need to hold accountability. We have Trump today because we didn't hold him accountable when we had the chance, and that can't happen again. This needs to be a requirement. Are you running in 2026 or 2028? Step up to the plate. This is about laws, and this is about power. This right here is the conversation. And honestly, because of this, this is why independent this, they don't always get broken down clearly in mainstream cable news. They just don't get the attention they deserve. And that's why platforms like MEIDASTOUCH, like IHIP, or independent journalists in general, creators, people on YouTube, podcasts, all of it matters right now more than ever. People are diving deep, digging in themselves, fact checking. We're tired of billionaire owned media, and we're tired of them getting to decide what matters and what doesn't. Honestly, I think we're entering an entirely new political era, and independent media is leading that charge. So please take a moment, like, subscribe, share. I'll be here for the next story, and we will continue to break these down.